Okay, art, week 13 for Nicole's class. So we switched things up a little bit. For the older kids, instead of the Madonna and Child, we are going to do St. Paul, 1290s. So Nicole, your class is going to recreate this picture. And as we discussed, every kid will receive their own copy of this painting. They will also get a sheet of watercolor paper, and I just used this bowl to create the circle, so every kid will have their own bowl, a pencil, a Sharpie, and paintbrushes, etc. So there's lots of cool things about the name is pronounced Giotto di Bandone. Giotto di Bandone. So the script in your tutor binder is really great. Italian painter and architect from Florence. Primary painted in fresco styling, creating frescoes for chapels. I found this other information that he was around 10 and 14 when he began his artistic apprenticeship. And so in terms of like the timeline of like where we find him, I pulled the timeline. So this is like around between England's Magna Carta, the Ottoman Empire, Marco Polo's journey to China, somewhere between Marco Polo's journey to China and the 100 Years' War. So here we go. So I feel like this is very, for the older kids, they can just work independently. There's not a lot of instruction for you, Nicole. So I would probably start with his shoulders, his neck. The only real thing I would probably tell them is to do kind of light touches, so that it's not so obvious when they start to paint. The mica paint I've currently mixed with egg yolk because the clear acrylic gloss that I ordered is not coming until tomorrow. So we're just doing his hair, his ears. If you told me this was what St. Paul looked like, I don't know that I would have believed you. Part of me is like wondering where he got this information. But they could just kind of work at their own pace. And of course, every drawing will look a little bit different. But I think that's like the good thing. Each kid will get you'll see in a minute when I bring it into frame. Do a little shadowing here. I got ice trays for the paints. So each table will get 2 ice trays of various colors of paint. For the purposes of this tutorial, I just got, I just mixed together just a couple colors to help you see. I'll also provide a Sharpie for them if they want to kind of like define the crosses. The watercolor paint isn't super pigmented. Sorry, the mica paint isn't super pigmented. So I would suggest that they do their crosses on his sash in Sharpie. So let's just say I'm gonna do that. Of course, I'm working really fast. They'll probably, they'll have 30 minutes. So I'm super curious, like what they'll drum up. And then after they've finished, they'll get their ice tray. 2 people will have to share these ice trays, but I just mixed together egg yolk and you know, this blue paint. You're gonna want to talk about the fact that the reason we're using kind of mica and like clear gloss acrylic is to kind of show, Giotto would have used like egg tempura, which is just 1 part egg yolk, 1 part water, maybe a little bit of vinegar, and then you know, some like colored spices, like turmeric, cinnamon. So this is meant to be kind of like a, you know, kind of get the feel for what, you know, paint wasn't always as pigmented, and it was probably needed several different coats. But yeah. Oh, I forgot the golden circle. Of course I did. Maybe I can still make that happen. Let's see what happens with this gold. Yeah, it's not so bad. But again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's their interpretation of this painting. And so on and so forth. They'll have lots of colors to choose from, so I'll make sure I have like skin tone and, you know, brown. I did mix together like a lilac. You know, they don't have to stick to the paint colors in the painting. If they wanted to paint his frock, you know, a lilac color, there's lots of different options in the powders. So hopefully this helps. If they also wanted to, let's say they wanted to outline the features of his face, you know, just because the paint isn't that pigmented, they could definitely do that with their Sharpie. I like that Paul had somewhat of a dimple in his chin, but they could do this just to give it some outline. But yeah, these are the mediums that they'll have. And let me see if I can finish it off with maybe some of this for his face. And again, it doesn't need to be perfect. They can take as much time as they want. They can color like the whole shebang. But this is my quick interpretation of this painting.